Now let's welcome our panelists. Today's moderator is a leader of leaders, handpicked as the voice of 27,000 U.S. Army warrant officers. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Yolandria Dixon Carter. Our next panelist models the mindset it takes to accomplish anything. You may know her for being the Army's all-time hoops leader in scoring, average, threes, and free throws. Please welcome Kelsey Minato. And our final panelist won a national championship at Duke, played in the NBA, and took home an AmeriCup gold medal before becoming an Army Ranger and Harvard Business School MBA candidate. Marshall Plumlee.
Well, good evening to each and every one of you. It is truly an honor to be here with each of you and with our distinguished panel. And so we're going to jump right into this discussion. Marshall, we'll start with you. You played for Duke University. You were a team captain. You won a championship, played in the NBA. And so as an athlete, after doing all of that, why the Army? What was the inspiration, or who inspired you to join the Army?
Yeah, so, I'm really fortunate. I got to play for Coach K. In my opinion, the greatest basketball coach of all time, had a tremendous influence on me. I think I took the Army as kind of a challenge. I remember early in my tenure at Duke, I wasn't playing great, and I had an end of the season meeting with Coach K, and he said, "Hey, Marshall, how's your locker? How's your locker in the locker room?" I said, "Well, it gets dirty, but every now and then I'll come in and I'll clean it up really well." And he said, "Yeah, I think your basketball career is kind of like that right now too." And he said, "Hey, I need you to be consistent. I need you to be disciplined. I need you to have that drive, that sharpness, someone we can depend on." And for me, my eyes immediately turned to what made him so sharp, what made him so successful. And that was the Army. And he'd be the first to tell you that that's what's empowered him to be the great coach that he is. And so I looked at his special sauce. I said, "Hey, I want some of that." I spent 5 years at Duke. The first 4 years, I was playing maybe a few minutes here or there. I was a bench guy. The only thing different I did to get ready for my final year was I went and did about 2 months of training with the Army in Fort Knox, Kentucky. And I came back, and I think I had a little bit more of a swagger in my step. I don't know, something changed. And Coach K couldn't take me off the court. I started every game. I played every minute. I would ask him for a sub. He'd say, "No, Marshall, I'm not taking you out because I know I can trust you to do the tough things." He said, "You're going to have to get over being tired because I need you on the floor."
Then Kelsey, for you, you had a different path, right?
Yeah, so I played basketball my entire life growing up, and I had aspirations like a lot of young kids probably do to play Division I sports and to play in college. And I wasn't heavily recruited at all, but the opportunity to attend West Point became available, and I wasn't quite sure what the Army was, what West Point was, what a career in the Army would be, and what that entailed. But the more I looked into it, the more research I did, the more people I talked to, it just seemed like an incredible opportunity to not only play basketball at the Division I level, which had always been a dream of mine, but then to afterwards serve in the Army and to be part of this large, incredible team where the principles of the Army are teamwork, leadership, being a good battle buddy. Like, those are all things that appealed to me, and it was an incredible experience, and I was able to leave kind of the basketball team, but then join an even greater team in the Army.
It's a great story. It's really great. And I know for me, when I came in, I've been in now for 34 years. I came from a small town called Medina, New York, and I was a teenage mother. And so I just needed a different opportunity for my 3-year-old daughter, and the Army afforded that opportunity for me. And I just never imagined all the places I would go and the things that I would experience in the Army. And it's always the veterans that seem to always uplift you and encourage you and inspire you to continue to go forward. Kelsey, you talked about leadership a little bit. And so based on what you've done, what kind of leadership principles, guiding principles did you learn in the Army, right? And which one of them have you taken with you?
The biggest lessons I've taken from the Army and now to my career outside of the Army are discipline, like you said, but teamwork, work ethic, just being a great teammate. And whether it's in sports, the Army, whatever organization you're in, I think there's always a very important piece of that is to be a good teammate and to be there for one another. And a lot of those lessons of going through hardships, going through different experiences in the Army, I was able to kind of translate that into my career now. Just try to be a positive example and just to be a great team player. And I think that can be applied to whatever profession you're in.
Marshall?
I couldn't agree more with your point on being a good teammate. For me, it's hard to tell where my lessons from the Army start and my lessons from basketball end. They blend together and they each lend themselves to one another so well. At Duke, yes, Coach K is a great tactician. He's good with X's and O's, but we didn't spend a lot of time on that. He spent the most time coaching our character and how to make us better teammates. And that was really a big wake-up call for me. I thought I was going to show up to play basketball and we were just going to focus on X's and O's. X's and O's took care of themselves. We were focusing on character. And I tried to carry that through to the Army. When I was fortunate enough to get a serve with the Rangers, those guys, they know what they're doing.
Both of you have experienced some challenges, right? Whether it's in particular in the Army or on the court. How did you take those challenges, turn them around, and use them as lessons learned so that others wouldn't necessarily face that same challenge?
Yeah, in terms of athletic, I wasn't vertically blessed like Marshall is, so I was very lightly recruited for basketball in high school, and it was tough because to kind of feel that dream start to slip away from me, I had to find ways to work smarter and to be more crafty, and I think that can be applied not just to sports but to whatever profession you're in. And for me, as I was leaving the Army and joining a new culture, a new work environment, I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into. But again, I kind of drew back on my experiences from the Army, and I've been able to kind of go into those unknown situations, but feel confident that I have the tools and the skills that I learned through the Army to help me in those situations and to come out successful still. The Army is one of the biggest teams in the world, and with that comes a lot of great experience of working under pressure amongst a bunch of different teams, and just kind of that whole experience I think goes a long way. And I see it in my job now, and I see it when I see other veterans in my company, and kind of what they bring to the table is just different.
Oh, the possibilities.
Yeah.
But if you were to tell your younger self at the age of 16, right? If you were looking at your younger self at 16, what advice would you give yourself?
We talked about signing up for things and how I was able to discover passions I didn't know existed. I think if I could talk to my younger self, I'd even go a step further and say, hey, don't just sign up for stuff, sign up for the tough things. And there have been different points in my life where I maybe chose the easy route and I got short-term comfort, but I didn't get a lot better. I think I've been the most proud of when I've signed up for the tough things. I would say for anyone considering the Army, if you're looking to be challenged, if you're looking to be forced to grow and to reach levels you never thought you could, then I'd say the Army's the perfect place for you.
Yeah. Kelsey?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of the things I would tell myself is to buckle up for the ride that I'm about to go on for the next 12 years and to really soak it all in and to just enjoy everything that basketball, West Point, the Army is going to give to my life, and to just take advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to me. And to really, like Marshall said, to push myself and to challenge myself and to try to be the best person, the best teammate I can be, and just to have fun. The Army, it's challenging, but there are also a lot of, some of the most fun and funny moments I've had in my life were in the Army. So I would just say to enjoy the ride, because it's going to be a fun ride.
And so I hope that something was definitely said on this evening to inspire someone to join up, to sign up, and to be all you can be in the United States Army. What we're going to do now is we're going to transition to some questions and answers. Are you all ready for that?
Yeah.
Ready for that.
What advice would you give to someone in high school who is on the fence about joining the Army after graduation?
I would encourage them to go for it. It's kind of part of that unknown uncertainty, but for me at least, that unknown has led to so much good in my life, and it's allowed me to meet great people, to challenge myself in ways that I didn't even realize I could be challenged. And when I overcome an obstacle or I achieve something, that personal, like a satisfaction feeling it feels so great. But then even more so when I watch another soldier achieve something that maybe they didn't think that they could achieve, or that they've worked so hard at and they finally got to that level, to watch that success in them and to see the pride in themselves and to see that they were able to kind of reach into their potential, as you said, and to achieve something. To me, there's no better feeling than to see someone else achieve a goal that they set out to do. That's what the Army can offer you, for sure.
I would try to lend them my perspective a little bit, and that I feel like I've gotten to do some cool jobs. I thought the NBA was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. And I would just tell them the coolest job I ever had was in the Army. And, there are a lot of high-level things I could say about honor, duty, et cetera, and all those are important, but just flat out, it was the most exciting job I've ever had. I had a blast. In a lot of ways, my relationship with the Army has been so productive and fun, and it has pushed me to be better. And I don't feel like I've had to leave a lot of aspirations at the door. I don't feel like I've had to give a lot up. I feel like I've just gained so much more. And
for every war fighter, there is a logistician behind that person. There is a human resource specialist behind that person. There's a media, public affairs officer or a non-commissioned officer that's behind that they're telling the story. So again, I cannot emphasize enough the possibilities that the Army will give you in pursuing your dreams, pursuing your goals, as well as being the best United States soldier that you can be.
Hi, I just wanted to ask you, how has the Army impacted your ability to stay consistent and persevere through tough times in basketball and other areas of your life?
The Army really helped me with kind of the mantra of taking care of the little things, and then the big things will take care of themselves. So I've had emotional peaks and valleys throughout my basketball career and throughout my Army career. I found if I just take 2 steps back, if I take a tactical pause and I focus on the little things, that I end up coming out the other side okay. And the example I'd give you, a kind of a tough moment for me was, the NBA draft. I knew since I was 6 years old I wanted to be an NBA player. Worked my whole life, went through college, I joined the Army through ROTC. They taught me how to take care of all these little things. I started doing the little things. I thought, this is my moment, I'm gonna get drafted. Draft night came, my number wasn't called. And for me, I ended up thinking, man, why did I do all these little things? Why did I listen to Coach K? Why did I listen to the Army? That little stuff, that was phooey. It didn't work out for me, and I had a really bad attitude. And then the day after the draft, I got a call for an offer to play for the New York Knicks. I asked my agent, hey, why did they want me? I wasn't even drafted. And they said, well, they saw that you wrote everyone a handwritten thank you note after the workout. And they saw that in the cafeteria after the workout, they caught you on camera cleaning up all the cafeteria tables. And they saw all these little things that you did. And they said they want that culture in their program. That's why they want you. And that's a powerful lesson I've gotten from the Army. And it helped me with my basketball career. And I'd encourage you as well to try to really hone on and taking care of the little things, and the big things tend to take care of themselves.
Well, I love the way you put that. Again, it has been an honor to stay here, to be here on this platform with both Marshall and both Kelsey, 2 amazing and humble individuals, our Army veterans. The Army gives you endless possibilities to be all you can be.